think I got it. I know someone has been
yeah, there was I was told my wife was last time I was here, actually the man is 60 plus, gotta get early, gotta get. I was thinking last month. Yeah, there's nobody. It was really comfortable because when you pass the microphone around the end, you can actually get through it. 3 hours of each chat.
So I really got respectful here in the way I'm
no, it's part of the human condition. I was actually thrilled because about 3 years ago, she was in so I thought, all right, now I have a chance to find this out. Maybe I have to do that. Might be a novel
We should kill the Christmas tree lights.
You're doing the overnight shift.
It's not washing out too bad. Let's see when I zoom in. I guess it's alright. It's far enough back. I killed the light behind the speaker, so that was the main one that was charging. Yeah, I guess that'll be alright. Okay, 2 minutes.
Airport lounge
No, I already got it recording now. Like last week when I pressed the button.
we have managed to make it and I have a second year
Hey everybody, it's 12 noon. It's 12 o'clock noon.
Exactly.
How's everybody doing today? I appreciate all those of you who came out in the storm. Actually, the weather's not that bad. It's just drizzling, kind of nasty out there. But thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, everybody. Is there anyone who is here for their first time meeting? Anybody here for the first time? Okay, a few people. Wonderful. Well, welcome. This is Lunch and Upper Marketing. My name is Derek Maribon, and we meet every week. So if this is your first time, please come back again. Put this in your schedule as a regular deal. And for those of you that are new, I encourage you to join our LinkedIn group and become a fan of our Facebook page. There's a lot of things going on there. I just posted a job on the LinkedIn group. Heritage is looking for a digital strategist. That's a pretty good position. So I encourage you, if you have jobs, if you want to interact with members, post there, talk on Facebook, and then please visit LA2M.org. We have a weekly newsletter that goes out. And if you sign up for the list, you will get the weekly newsletter. You can, of course, opt out of that if you prefer. On the website, you'll find out all about the events at LA2M.org. You can also, what else can you do there? You can watch the videos of the event, video or audio podcast. All right, so Vince Shimolevsky records the audio podcast. Roger Rail is recording live on Ustream, which would be cool, so you can live stream this if you don't want to come down to LA2M. And Grant, we're still recording for Vimeo, and we're still going to record in this format too, so we can put it up on the video podcast. So that's all the good news about that. Real quick, Eric, you need a seat? No. Okay. Okay, there's seats up here. Okay, great. So, sorry. Real quick, the holiday party is December 23rd. Okay, there's a holiday party December 23rd. It's $15 for that. All right, and we're going to have really nice catering by Connors. It will be cash bar, but that's kind of a, 11 to 1 type event, so it's a 2-hour holiday party. It'll be here. There's no official speaker. It's going to be kind of a open space event, which will be cool. So we'll have some different people leading different topics around the room, which you can join in on or just talk to people. Come out and have some drinks, start your Christmas holiday. So that's December 23rd. And you can buy tickets on the website. And I encourage you also, you can bring check or cash next week. Check made out to LA2M. And then Eric Rodriguez, who's in the back, will be taking check or cash, which basically saves us the PayPal fees, or you can buy it on the website. We don't care. You do have to pre-register for that event, though, just because we need to give a head count to Connors so that they can hook us up with some really good food that day. So please tell a friend. All the proceeds from that event are going to go to the Delano Center, okay, which is that really nice center for the homeless, and a lot of people benefit from the Delano Center. So. Oh, also, yeah, they can bring food, right? Okay, you can bring food to the event. If you want to bring it before the event, you can drop it off at the Chamber. Chamber of Commerce is collecting it, or you can bring it here the day of the event, and that will go to food gatherers. Is that correct? Okay. Question?
The $15 is a fee for a meal, or do you have to buy a meal?
No. The $15, so 10 of that goes to cover the really nice appetizer spread. It'll be like lunch, think of that for the lunch. LA2M is going to take a portion of that. For LA2M as a nonprofit, we do good things with that money, and then all the proceeds on top of that go to Delano's. So that's how the money is split.
Are you taking cash and check today?
We are taking cash and check today if you want. Now I think Eric Rodriguez, he's up here now, he shut down his computer, but you can come talk to him after the program up here, and you can pay cash or check.
Wrap your money around a business card.
Yeah, you can also do that if you want to put it when we pass the basket at the end. Oh, right, give it to Eric directly. Okay, thanks. Okay, that's enough gibberish about LA2M. So, we have a speaker today. Damian Rintelmann actually is filling in. We had another speaker by the name of Ken Burbary. Ken got called away to some exotic location for a meeting, and Damian, who's like super cool, said that he would step in and speak. So Damian is the Director of Strategy for Hart Associates, which is a really big agency down in Toledo. And he used to work over at MSNL. We have some MSNL people that often come out here. So Damian used to come to LA2M back in the day. We don't see him as much now, maybe, because he's in Toledo. But if you could please give a big round of applause to Damian Rintelmann.
Thanks, Gary. So today we're going to talk about mobile marketing. How many of you use mobile marketing in some fashion right now? A couple hands out there. Mobile marketing is it's a fairly new thing. The thing is, mobile phones have been around for quite a while, and there's been quite an evolution over time. If you look back, the old phones, that very first one I always call it the Zach Morris phone, for those that know pop culture. Big old phone. There's also the bag phone, which I didn't put up there. But they've definitely come a long way. Today, there's many of you that are carrying these phones that have a lot more capabilities than we're really tapping into. And the iPhone has kind of been that icon for smartphones recently, but the Android phones or the Droid phones that have recently come out have really been taking the world by storm too. But really, the phones that pretty much everybody has in their hands right now, they have a lot of the same features, Oh, hello there. A lot of the same features, and they have, GPS built into them. They've got data built into them. They've got the two-way communications that are there. So they really have, some amazing capabilities, but the thing is, they're not really being tapped into as much as they should be. And when you look at marketing, really right now, it's one of those areas that we can grow tremendously. And if you start comparing it to some other big things that are out there, I like using this stat. This is a stat that's been around for a little while, but I recently updated it. If you look at the growth of mobile phones over the last, say, 12 years when consumers really got into using them, there's just been an explosion. 4.1 billion phones around the world right now that are mobile phones. That's tremendous. Then if you start looking at, all right, iPhones, for instance, there's 14 million of those that are around the world right now. So you've got 14 million phones that you can really tap into. And if you're a brand, you can look at that phone and say, wow, these people are carrying this thing day in and day out. It's the first thing they check and the last thing they check in their days. I mean, you hear about couples breaking up because of BlackBerry envy and things like that. I mean, it's quite a problem that's there, but brands can tap into that in a new way that really wasn't possible before. Because if you look at it, this thing is attached to our hands all the time. When you look at Derek here, he's going at it right now. But really, think about it this way. I mean, you can put your brand in that person's hand wherever they are. That's true power. And the great thing for businesses, I mean, it doesn't have to be something that's a big business. Small businesses can also tap into this as well. When you look at it in terms of the intimacy that's available, mobile phones really allow that local connection because they're locally aware of where they are in the world today. They've got that GPS built in them, or they can do triangulation to figure out, roughly where they are in the world. That's pretty powerful. They've got information that can be sent to it. And really, it's quite personal because you don't have to think about it in terms of you're blasting them a message. It can be a very personal message, and it can be very tailored to them. Now, here's the other thing to think about, though. Mobile phones, and this is quite a struggle for a lot of people, when you're using them as a communications tool, it's not like the same old internet. They really need a very different approach because you're not sitting in front of your computer. You're using it in a very different way. So there's been this struggle where brands or marketers are looking at it and saying, hey, it's the internet, or hey, it's an application. Yes and no. Yes, it is the internet, and yes, it is an application, but it's one that somebody's going to pull it out. If they're sitting in a Starbucks, they're going to look for information that is relative to them right now, and they don't want to sit through a big web page because they've got a small screen. That small screen, you really got to optimize the content that you're building for it. So you have to start thinking about it that way. What type of information are these people looking for on that tiny screen? They're not going to want to look at your bios and things like that. They're going to want to look at information that's relative to their life right now. That's the great thing with mobile. It's right now, right here, right now. So when I start breaking down mobile marketing, it really starts having some natural touch points. And I mentioned the mobile web, which the one that you see here is the NHL.com mobile site. And this is just a mobile website. What they've done is they've taken this site, scaled it down, cut out some of the content, taken the images, minimized them a little bit, and they've made it where you can really look at it and pull it up on that tiny screen and get the information that you're looking for. Now, the next one is one that's overlooked quite often, but text messaging marketing. SMS is pretty powerful, and you can really look at how can you connect a person who maybe is not using their phone for data right now. They're not using it for the mobile web, but they still want to get information. So you can kind of group them all in together using SMS or text messages. And then lastly is the applications. The one that you see there is Epicurious, which is just a food application for the iPhone. It's one of the more popular ones out there. But those local applications become quite a challenge because when you look at applications, all these platforms are all different. So you have to build your application to work on the phone that you're looking to target. And the iPhone seems to be kind of that natural touch point right now, but the Android phones they're really coming into the game and they're changing a little bit. So they're bringing a whole other application to the marketplace. But when you start thinking about how many phones are out there, just in the US right now, that are all these different platforms, there's thousands of them. So you have to think about who are you trying to target, what are you trying to do with that? Because you can't build 2,000 applications. It's just going to be impossible. So what you need to do is figure out what's going to be the best way that you can communicate with them and make it easy for them to communicate with you. And that's why you have to kind of break it down into those buckets. Now if I look at mobile marketing, these are kind of the main big buckets that are there. You know, I mentioned that SMS or text messaging or mobile marketing is really being used a lot there. MMS or multimedia messaging, which is just picture messaging, you're seeing that a little bit right now, but not a ton. The other one, mobile web. Mobile web, it's a great area, especially for businesses that just want to kind of dip their toe into it. They can take their current website and make it mobile friendly by doing it that way. The other three that are there really are probably less used right now, but you know, Bluetooth has a shorter range, so you're probably not going to use that because it's got to be within 20 or so feet. The people have to be willing to either accept a message coming in or accept the data that's coming in. Location-based marketing, which we're really seeing a lot of growth right now. It really has a great area that it can expand quite a bit because location-based marketing really is using that GPS-enabled phone and tapping into where is that person right now. And then last but not least is QR codes. QR codes look like a barcode. And we're seeing this over here a little more now, but really in Europe and Asia, they've been using this for a little while where they can actually take a picture of that and that connects them to a piece of data, whether that's a website, whether that's a movie ticket, whether that's a coupon, something like that. But there's a lot of data that's just kind of embedded in that little barcode, if you will. And all you have to do is just take a picture of it, and then it pulls that data out. Yeah?
Damian, QR code delivered to what? Delivered to MMS or delivered to a smartphone like an iPhone or Android?
It works on any phone that has a picture or camera to it. So you have to actually take a picture of that image or of that barcode. And there's an application that reads it. And then it's going to link you to the data that's behind it. So again, there's that barrier to entry because these people have to have a camera phone and they've got to have an application that reads that data. So it becomes a little bit of a challenge. Why are we not tapping into all of this? Because we're all carrying it. And go hands-free mobiles there, huh? Again, it goes to that barrier of entry because there's so many phones you've got to think about. And I think that overwhelms marketers and they really can't think about, wow, do I want to go to an iPhone? Do I want to do an Android phone? Do I want to do something that's SMS-based? It's a challenge. It's like I was saying, you really need to step back a little bit. Start thinking about your products, think about your service, and how can you actually apply that to a mobile approach. It's just like any other marketing strategy. There's a person that's behind it all. How do you want to reach that? So you have to break it down to be a little more simple because that iPhone or that Android phone has that small screen and you need to be very strategic about what you're doing. So don't try to do everything under the sun. See if you can do a few things very well. The application that's here, this is the Charmin sit or squat application. Any guesses of what it actually does? Helps you find a bathroom. What does that really have to do with Charmin? I mean, is it selling Charmin products? Not necessarily. But it is helping people out, especially if you've been to New York City or if you spend a lot of time in a big city. Finding a public bathroom that's clean and easy to find, not so easy. So they really thought about it and how can we actually enhance these people's lives? And oh, by the way, Charmin is kind of that source of information. So there's a little bit of a touch point that becomes there. Another example, and this has been a recent kind of fun one that I've dealt into, was the Absolute Drink Inspiration application. Nothing fancy, but really it has some fun things about it where you can say if you're here, you can choose, hey, I'm in an Irish bar, what type of drink should I have here? So it tells you what to order. It's not all about their products. Obviously they want to promote their products, but they're promoting other things too. I mean, they're selling beer and things like that in here. So they're stepping back and thinking, how can we enhance these people's lives? And next time they're wanting a vodka or one of these other spirits, they're going to think about that. And oh, by the way, if they've got a vodka drink they're trying to think of, you can go in here and get a recipe for it. So it's doing a few things really well. But the big thing is you can't really make it a standalone application to everything else that you're doing. You need to connect it into your other applications. So if you've got a social media presence, connect that into your social media presence. If you want to get people engaged in your mobile site, give them a reason to engage. You know, say you have a Facebook fan page, why not give somebody a mobile coupon when they first sign up for your mobile SMS messages? So there's kind of that enhancement that comes from getting them on board. I keep reiterating this, but you know, really, when you want to approach mobile, you've got to focus it down. You have to think about it in 3 different ways. Choice, control, and consideration. Choice means that people have the opportunity to opt in. Control means they have the opportunity to opt out. Because, you know, for instance, with mobile marketing, if you start getting them onto a text message list, you're sending them a text message once a week, and they decide, hey, I no longer want that. You've got to give them an option to get out of it. If you don't, you're just a spammer, and you're going to be looked at that way. And then lastly, the consideration. You want to make sure it's about them, not about you. You really want to help them out. Now I talked about iPhone applications. Excuse me, it's my voice here. But the iPhone applications, I think I'll actually lose it. iPhone applications have been really where we're going today, but this is actually, I'm sorry.
That happened to me earlier. There's extra water here.
All right, getting myself here. iPhone applications have really been that platform. The Android has transitioned into a new area for that. But there's also, you know, these web-based applications that have transitioned into iPhone and Android applications. Foursquare and Brightkite, excuse me, have done that. These two are focused solely on the location. I'm gonna die here. The Foursquare, you can actually check into a location and say, here I am. So it's just like Twitter, but you have the opportunity to say, I'm exactly at this point, I've been here 5 times. Now, brands have actually tapped into this recently where Pepsi, and this is in New York City right now, but Pepsi is actually giving incentives if you tap into that location and you go, I've been here 5 times. They're rewarding the person that's been there the most. Think about it like a restaurant too, where can you do the same thing? Can you actually get them to check in 10 times and reward them? Moving on to the next one, and I continue to lose my voice, health and mobile. Healthcare really has been tapping into this a lot too. Doctors have the opportunity now where they can actually no longer use our traditional pager system and actually pull up a patient's data wherever they are. So they can start diagnosing a patient right now. So they don't necessarily have to be at the hospital. They can pull up the images from an MRI or from a X-ray and start understanding what's happening there. So now you're seeing a whole new era where you can actually not only use it just in that marketing realm, but as a productivity piece too. So can you think about it in terms of how can we get our team to be a little more effective? Here's an example of the QR codes. And I mentioned that you take a picture of that, and then it links you to a URL. Now that's pretty powerful in terms of if you actually can tap into this and say you're a local business and you've got marketing pieces that are all around, you don't necessarily always want to print huge big headlines. You don't want to always print, a whole page of stuff. Can you actually get it down much smaller and have a person take a picture of it and they get all the rest of the information? Take that one step further. Movie tickets. Being able to buy a movie ticket on your phone, so you've got the e-commerce that's built in there, then actually taking that's your ticket, scanning it, and there you go. No more paper. Pretty powerful. And then lastly here, augmented reality. And this is the big one. How many of you have actually heard of this right now? So it's getting there. I mean, there's more adoption. There's a lot more people that are realizing it's out there. This application here, it's Yelp. Yelp is a restaurant recommendation tool. And you have the ability with this iPhone application where you can actually look up restaurants. But they found a new way that you can actually look it up, where you take that camera out again and you use the live image of what you see right now, and it overlays data on top of that. So then you take that camera and you're turning it, and what it's doing is as you're turning, it's actually showing you counters is this way, we're looking at real seafood that way, and you're starting to actually see kind of a real-time view of where you are and where you can go to actually get great food. Now, if you're a restaurant, you look at this and you say, all right, well, what are these people saying about me on there? Because when they're making that snap decision, it's very, very instantaneous, because as they're turning, they can see that this place either has 4 recommendations, or this place has 10 recommendations. So it's not only just marketing, but it's also customer service that's there too. Just like social media has a customer service aspect to it, mobile marketing has the exact same thing. Because these people, in a real-time way, are giving feedback on your place of business. There's a handful of applications that are very similar that are coming out just like this. Now, just a couple of days ago, Google announced Google Goggles. This isn't one of their April Fool's jokes either. It's a real thing, and it's a great idea, because what they're trying to do is make it so you no longer have to type things in to actually get your results. You can take an image. Say you're looking at a restaurant, take a picture of that restaurant. It's going to return you those reviews. It's going to return you all the search results. So that's really, again, quite another powerful aspect, where no longer do people have to sit there and actually type it out on their phones with their non-QWERTY keyboards. They can take a picture of it. Google also has, for some other phones, where you can actually speak in your search result as well. So they're trying to hit more than just the Android phones. But if you think about the power of this here, it's not just about these landmarks. It's not just about restaurants. It's about all products. What they're trying to do is they're actually trying to take it and have a search result for everything that they can. So what they've been doing is, I think they've got 150,000 images in there that it's going to recognize right now. It's not recognizing cars and other like chairs and things like that, but they're trying to make it so you can scan pretty much anything and it's going to give you results on it. One of the great things that they were showing off is like with wine bottles. You take a picture of a wine bottle, if you're not a wine connoisseur, I want to see what people say about it. I don't care about the number rating or anything like that. I just care, does it taste good? Take a picture of it, there's your results. So for you as a marketer, you have to understand what are those results that are being returned in there too. So you want to make sure that you're searching for your products and your products show up in there easily and they're getting to that information. So now it's not only just about the mobile side of it, but now you've got to also make sure that your website is using proper SEO, it's using proper information so that way it's easily found. And when they do that very quick, instantaneous purchase decision, you come up very quickly and it's positive. if I look at anything that I presented today, I would say this right here is probably the most powerful tool that's come out recently. And it's only going to become more powerful. We've seen that Google has kind of interwoven itself in everything that we do in our lives. And search has become very, very important. But now that search and mobile are becoming one as well, that's a whole new area that you have to think about in terms of mobile marketing. But one last thing though, think about it just like this though. People, places, and information. That's what it's still all about. So you want to think about that person that's behind it all, and how can you enhance their life through mobile marketing? How can you give them proper information, cut out the information that they don't need, and make sure it's easy for them? And really, get it down to a certain location. Because again, mobile marketing, the best thing about it, it's location-based marketing. It's just the tip of the iceberg on this, but any questions? All the way back there.
How about non-phone mobile devices like an e-reader or like Twitter Peak or something like that? How are marketers able to penetrate those users?
Well, the question was about how can you tap into non-mobile devices such as e-readers, the Kindles, the Nooks, those types of devices. Very similar to mobile devices, they are going to be information that's taken with them. They're Wi-Fi enabled, so they can still connect into data. If you're looking at it from the standpoint, I'm going to use Derek here as the example. Say you produce white papers, which I think you have in the past. You make it available to these Nooks and Kindles and things like that in a PDF format, then they can actually download it. Now right now, Amazon really hasn't tackled it that well, and I haven't seen what Barnes & Noble is really doing, but it's hard to read those PDFs still today, but they're trying to figure that out. So I think as you see those evolve, I mean, they're pretty premature right now, but as they evolve, you're going to be able to actually give them some of your information on the go. So as you're producing good content for them, you can actually make that available for download too. There's going to be platforms, just like you see iTunes as a platform to download applications. You see that Amazon is kind of transitioning to the same thing. So if you're looking at white papers or if you're self-publishing a book, then you can actually use those devices to your benefit. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Great. Ross?
You talked about slimming down content for mobile websites. How do you feel about providing different content?
I absolutely agree with it, because that's the other thing. We have to think about what they're trying to do, and it may be very different than the website that you're building. So absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to just think about what they're doing. So if it means you have to produce different content, go for it. I mean, we have a company, our company website, Hart Associates, we did something similar. We provided a little different content than on our traditional site. Yeah.
I'm asking myself a question, so I'll ask it to you, since you're the expert, ask the expert. Does landline have any relevance anymore? I mean, when somebody says to me, they're sending me a fax, I'd like, send me a telegram too,
So the question is that if you didn't hear it, do landlines have any relevance anymore? And I would say yes. If you had an iPhone, you probably have experienced this where you can be in your own house and not have service. If you've been to New York, it's probably even worse, where you can be in the middle of the city and not have service. So they're still there, but those are also evolving as well. And you're seeing a lot less of the traditional landline. You're seeing more of a data landline, or voice over IP is what it's called. A lot of the providers like Comcast providing their own phone service, and that's how they're doing it. It's just over the internet. So it's still there, but it's very different. And I think you're going to see those kind of change too over time.
Damian, can I add on to that
Absolutely.
discussion? I think it all stems back to, and you alluded to this earlier, who's your customer and where do they hang out and what kind of communication devices do they use? If your target market is using landlines, then definitely that's how your marketing should be focused. If your target market is purely using iPhones and applications, then you channel your strategy to meet your target audience in the way that they need to be communicated to. So it really goes back to who's your customer and how do they use this stuff themselves, and that's your answer.
Absolutely. All the way back there.
Yeah, I want to sort of follow up on this because on one hand, the presentation was very customer focused in terms of use of mobile marketing, but your description was still pretty much pushing information out to the customer or pushing out to the customer the ability for the customer to request that you push information out to the customer. I've been playing in the CRM space for the last 12 years and watching the company I was working for screw up CRM by not actually truly interacting with the customer to get information from the customer for that relationship piece. Are you, which is a long way of asking the question, are you aware of anybody who's using this technology to really elicit true feedback and true bi-directional communications from the customer, or is it still mostly pushing information out to the customer, or the ability for the customer to ask for information to be pushed out, as opposed to the customer really engaging with whoever it is that's doing the mobile marketing?
Well, to answer that question, and for those of you that are streaming, the question was, are there two-way communications tools that are being used in mobile marketing versus the one way that I was mainly talking about today? The answer to that is absolutely. I'll give you two different examples. One, social media has really become quite a part of mobile marketing. If you look at Twitter, one of the recent stats that I saw is 80% of tweets actually come from mobile phones. So that means a lot of people are pulling out their phones to actually talk wherever and whenever they are. Now, if you're looking at that from a customer service standpoint, you absolutely should be checking your brand's name or your product's name on Twitter and seeing what people are saying about you, because they could potentially have a bad customer experience. I'll use Starbucks for example. They're sitting in line. They said they just had to wait 10 minutes to get their coffee. They tweet about it right then. There's a location that's attached to it potentially. That's quite a problem. So there's one example. Now the second example is you're seeing a few more applications that are popping up that are truly customer service applications. And as much as I'll bash on AT&T for having bad service in certain areas, they just recently launched an iPhone application that allows you to actually say, I've had a dropped call, I've had bad service, I've had no service in a specific location. So what you can do is you can use the GPS in the device, get it down to this is my house that I have horrible service in, and actually tell them about it. And what they do then is kind of create a customer ticket, and then start that two-way communication. And I actually got a text message back for them after I submitted that exact problem where I had no service in my house. So that's a great way to do it. Those are just two examples though, and there's lots of them, because social media, if you look at how that connects into mobile, that's a whole other area. Social media has become very instantaneous as well, and it is a dialogue. So a lot of these applications that are out there have implemented social media into it. So there absolutely needs to be that as well.
Just kind of adding on to that, there was a piece on NPR in the last couple weeks about a city hall in a municipality that set an application up so that people could shoot pictures of streetlights that were out, potholes, and send them right into City Hall so that they would go right to the desk of the person who should get those.
Yeah.
A question that I had though, a couple people, when you first asked who's using mobile marketing, there were a couple people that raised their hand. Your presentation was great, but I'm just wondering if any of the people that raised their hand can speak to maybe how they're using it, if they have a smaller business and sort of what they're doing and
Absolutely.
And that. So I don't know who raised their hand.
Yeah, actually, let me piggyback on that and throw it back to Damian, because that's a good question. He touched on it a little bit in the talk. He talked about how businesses need to pay attention
to how people are finding them on mobile devices, where they are showing up. And I think that's really one of the main ways, because a lot of the small business owners in here aren't going to start an application.
Right.
I mean, maybe you could just elaborate on that a little bit, like how a small company can, you know, do a few things that would impact how people communicate with them or find them.
Absolutely. I'll start, I guess, by a couple of examples of also how we're using it too, where I work with quite a few small businesses and B2B businesses. And for them, it's not necessarily about building an application all the time. They may not have the budget, and their easiest point of entry is normally either in mobile web or in SMS messaging. SMS can be very simple because there's gateway providers that are out there. One that comes to mind is Direct Connect. They offer the ability where you can actually start their service, and it's a pay-by-use service where people can subscribe to updates. And with those updates, you can provide coupon codes or promo codes. So as a small business, you don't necessarily have to really, have a huge investment and buy $10,000 worth of, gateway equipment, things like that. You can actually just do it on a pay-per-use, and it's just a few cents every single time you're sending those messages back and forth. If you have a lot more people that subscribe to it, though, I mean, that becomes a little more expensive, but at the start, you're probably going to see that most people are not going to use it that way. I've been working a lot with the Ohio Lottery, and right now the Ohio Lottery is being using it just to tell people about winning numbers. It's very, very simple, but what they're doing is they're using SMS messaging where twice a week on the drawing days for the Mega Millions, it sends out a reminder message saying there's going to be a drawing today, and then it gives the last drawing's numbers. With mobile or with SMS marketing, you only have 140 characters that you can work with, just like Twitter. So you've got a very short, concise message that you have to deal with. So you've got to think of how can you actually get your message down to that as well, and make it so people can stop receiving those messages at any time. So that's the one natural touch point. The other one that's very cheap and easy, when I say mobile web, is taking your current website and making it do a browser detect. So it detects that it's coming from a mobile phone. So if somebody pulls up your URL on a mobile phone, what it's going to do is it's going to give you a very different experience than you would if you were sitting at a computer. Then what it does is you can actually block big images, you can block certain content, and make it so they're getting the information that's relative to them. So just like when I said we were doing something similar, where people don't really want to look at our portfolio, they don't want to look at all these big images about what we do. We cut that out and make it so they can see a little bit about us, but it's also how do you find us, how can you call us, how can you do things like that. So you simplify it a ton. Those are just a couple of ways, but mobile web is really, it's a great way to kind of dip your toe into it.
It's actually 11:40, so let's give Damian a big round of applause.
That was wonderful talk. And Stacy is our treasurer. She's going to pass the baskets. Now, as you know, it's $10 if you ate, so you can pay the men and women in black for that. We do have a suggested donation, which is optional, of $3. LA2M is a nonprofit organization, so we do support the community. We're all self-funded and we're all volunteers. So all the people that you see working aren't really paid for this. So now we pass the microphone, which gives you an opportunity to give us your name, your company, and real quick, if there's something we can help you with. The real quick thing is important just because the mic is going to go all around the room. And I'm going to start over here. You ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go.
Susan Harris, I'm a technical writer focusing on internet engineering. At the moment, I don't need anything except to cool off. I'm really hot in temperature.
Hi, I'm Eric Rodriguez. I work with Grant and Derek at Ingenix Digital Marketing.
I'm Grant from Ingenix Digital. We're just a couple doors down on Main Street. We do all things digital marketing.
Sherry Marcy, I'm your ambassador from GLEQ, GLEQ.org, and we're having our ACE 10, that's the annual collaboration for entrepreneurship, January 21st.
I'm Bob Shannon. I'm a CPA with my own firm, and I specialize in helping startups, including high-tech startups, with accounting, tax, and financial planning.
Hi, my name is LA2M. I'm with the Carytown Concert House. If you don't know, we actually rent out the space for business meetings and events and, holiday parties and the like. So if you're interested, let me know. In addition, I also work for a startup company called Saga. We just launched an iPhone application. It's really cool. Set of breathing exercises that help you relax. It's called Pranayama. Just search for Saga, S-A-A-G-A-R-A, on the iTunes Store.
Hi, my name is Jane Delancey, Delancey Design, and lately we've been doing a lot of redesigns and just completed an e-commerce site where we solved the big, hairy old domain name hosting issue. So we work a lot with people that are frustrated with their current site or unhappy with something about it. So if you know anyone like that, that's what I'm looking for. DelanceyDesign.com.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Dalton, and this has got to be back here. I'm an online manager, project manager. I'm a creative tech, and I'm looking for my next contract or full-time hire. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Shannon Pointer with New York Life. I'm a financial advisor, and I work with small to medium-sized businesses in 5 key areas. And I also work with individuals in transition. New York Life. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Al Carbonelli from Logic Solutions here in Ann Arbor. We are a 15-year-old digital web development house with the headquarters on Plymouth Road, 3 offices in mainland China, and we specialize in social and mobile applications, mobile of all flavors.
My name is Brad Lewin, and I'm the marketing manager for A2 Hosting. And if anybody needs a hosting provider for their website, just come talk to us.
Hi, my name is Kyle Rass, also from A2 Hosting. I'm the brand new community liaison. This is my first marketing meeting. Pleasure to meet you all. Again, Brad as well.
Hi, I'm Andy Ross, and I specialize in the Adobe Flash platform. And I've actually been very busy lately, and I'm looking for help. So if you know anybody who has any Flash skills whatsoever, have them give me a call, because I'm looking for people I can hire and put to work. Thanks.
Hi everybody, I'm Stacy from Dollar Bill Printing. We're a local digital print shop. I've been there for 22 years. So if you have any quick digital printing, I can help you with that. But more important, the holiday party is 2 weeks away, and we need to get a whole bunch of people there so that we can have an awesome party. Is anybody here planning to go? Okay, so you gotta go online, you gotta pay, and you gotta register. Everybody do that when we leave here so you don't forget.
Hi, I'm Leda from Affordable Computers. We provide sales and services of refurbished computers.
I'm Benji Ben Baruch. I'm an applied sociologist who worked in CRM and customer database expert at GM for the last 12 years. And I'm now looking for my next job because I didn't quite make the last round of layoffs at GM. I turn data into information.
Jeff Greaves with New Roof, we do commercial and residential roof.
Joe Minnock with the Journal of Commerce. We do e-commerce websites. And actually, I just posted to our blog all of the key points from Damian's speech. I'm sure Damian will be posting that again later, but you can see that at blog.journalofcommerce.com.
My name is Qian Wenbi from China. I just graduated in June with major is MBA with specialization in finance. So I come here just because I would like to find a new opportunity to pursue my new career. Thank you.
Hello, afternoon. My name is Marcia. I also come from China. I'm a general manager of a consulting firm named Teach and Touch Management Consulting firm. So I would like to look for some people who are specialized in production and sales marketing consultant. You can contact me because I want to promote the product in Chinese market. Thank you.
I'm Wayne Aker. I'm a freelance web developer.
Hello, I'm Chris Potterola. I'm a former colleague of Damian's at MSNL Worldwide until we threw him out. We do have openings in our office, so I encourage you to go to mslworldwide.com. And I run a research and media monitoring department at the agency. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Ross Johnson with 3.7 Designs. We are plastic surgeons for websites. So if your website could look a little better, come talk to me.
My name is Tony Nestro. I'm in a career transition. I'm coming from automotive manufacturing, project management, design engineering.
Hi, my name is Gary Clementson. I work for Time Warner Cable in the DC area in search technology and internet product management, looking for a position in the greater Detroit area.
Hello, my name is Phil Polodike. I'm with Internet Advertising Solutions, and I help small to medium-sized businesses it may help. I help small and medium-sized businesses get a front page presence on Google at a price they can afford. So with the holidays getting so close, 3 to 5 days, we can have you on the front page and your consumers can find you.
Hi, my name is Maggie Callahar. I'm from 4C Results here in Ann Arbor. We're a customer experience company. We help our clients understand customer satisfaction with their websites, and we are also venturing into the offline space as well to do call center measurement and in-store. And we are hiring, so check out our website, 4cresults.com.
I'm Danny Rosenberg, social media specialist at 4C Results as well with Maggie. And I guess you could follow us at 4C Results. And the thing I'm grateful is figuring out a definition for social media because everything seems to be categorized in there.
My name is Thomas Schramm with Synopathy. We do alternative healthcare technology, and they're currently looking for women who have PMS for a trial.
Jennifer Darr with PMS. I'm just really, well, probably, yes, my husband. Jennifer Darr with Zapata Designs, .925 sterling silver jewelry. We make the perfect holiday gift. My offer to you today is if you contact me and place an order, I'll pay your shipping and tax and also guarantee holiday delivery. Zapata, find yourself in it.
Hi, my name is Jenny Kogo. I work at University Office Technologies on Washtenaw. We've been there for 35 years and we sell copiers and printers. We're the only locally owned and operated copier store. Everywhere else is part of a large corporation, so I know in this town local is really important, so that's good. We're interested in any offices, any marks put on paper. We want to be involved in that. And also document management software. Any kind of storage of files or anything electronically, we can help you with those solutions as well.
My name is Stacy Coble, and I am from Serpro Canton and Serpro Washtenaw County, and we specialize in fire and water mitigation and mold remediation.
Good afternoon. My name is Ralph Centropia. I'm with Brown and Bigelow Never Advertising. We've been around over 100 years promoting businesses like yourself and organizations, nonprofit. I would gladly send to you, if you give me your address or your business card, electronically or by mail, my catalogs. It is not too late to show appreciation for your customers.
Hi, Mike Nato, Affordable Computers here in town. We save people money on their computer and computer service requirements. And we really have some terrific December bargains going on right now if you're in the market for a PC.
Hello, Adrian Forbes. I'm a software engineer at Nebraska Consulting. I also, on the side, help people with websites and hosting.
Hello, my name is Kathy Zazinski. I'm a marketing and advertising consultant. I was formerly with the Ann Arbor News, and as I'm looking for the next permanent full-time opportunity for myself, I've been working with some businesses kind of on a freelance style basis. One of them, the Ann Arbor Tennis Academy, is new in the area. They're on the west side of Ann Arbor, so If you're someone who has been playing tennis in one of the clubs that has only outdoor courts and want to book some time over the winter season, give them a call or check out their website.
Hi, I'm Tom Crawford. I run a company called Viz Network, and we help people communicate more effectively using the visual arts.
Good afternoon, my name is Jonathan Tausig. I'm with the America's Business Benefit Association. We're a nonprofit, national nonprofit group, and we help individuals, families, and small businesses save money on some 60-plus different services. Healthcare insurance is the number one thing we're asked to help with, but it's not the only thing that we do, and you can check us out at ABBA Plans, not the rock group, ABBAplans.com. Thank you.
I'm Roger Rail. I'm an independent software information consultant, and I want to invite people to LA2M New Tech presentations. It's young companies or startups. There's about 4 or 5 of them that present. We have a once-a-month meeting. The next one is next Tuesday night at 6:30 at the Ross School of Business Law Auditorium.
Hello, I'm Andy Gelman. I'm currently a seasonal computer sales associate at Best Buy. I'm also still looking for employment related to graphic design and photography. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Olds. I'm a business professional in marketing and sales. I have a wide variety of media experience. Some of those things include media planning, quantitative and qualitative research, forecasting, customer service. I also have strong computer skills as well, and I'm currently in transition. So some of you folks that said you were hiring, hello.
Hi, I'm Jenny McKillop from JSTOR. We have offices downtown, so that's why I popped in for lunch. And we just, JSTOR is a digital archive, and we just started a marketing unit, and I'm part of it. So this is my first marketing anything ever. So you're all so very nice.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Wilkinson, and I'm with Parent-Child Education. I'm looking for people that want to do fun things with kids this holiday season. Check out our website at Parent-Child Education.
Hi, I'm Bob Ferrand of Bob Ferrand Photography. I'm a commercial and advertising photographer, and you can check out my work at bobferrandphoto.com. Thanks.
Photographers got stuck in the same corner here. I'm Carter Sherline, Frog Print Studios, and I do commercial, editorial, and portrait photography.
Hello, my name is Derek Marabon. I have a company called Ingenix Digital Marketing, and I also teach the New Media Driver's License course at Michigan State University, which is a great course if anyone's looking to really brush up on how to use digital to sell products, which we talk about a lot here. We are going into corporate training starting in January, which is pretty exciting.
And I'm going to follow on that before I introduce myself, because Derek is going to be bringing the MSU New Media Drivers Education course to Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing in 1 week's time. So get a little preview. I'm sure it's going to be a great day. Derek is one of our media gurus in the Ann Arbor and Southeast Michigan area, so we can all learn a lot. Damian, would you like to introduce HART and your association there?
I think you probably got a little bit of it, but we are a 50-plus person organization, and we're an integrated marketing firm, so we do everything from PR to creative to interactive, all in-house in Toledo, or in Longview, Ohio.
And I am Dee Davey, Creative Ideas Marketing. I'm an independent marketing contractor. I help organizations who offer business-to-business services to their customers a way of ensuring that they're offering the right things to the right customers for the right reasons. I'm also the voice of LA2M, Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing. I work with Derek to put the schedule together, to publicize it, and to keep everybody informed. You usually see me every week, but you'll be seeing a little less of me over the next 3 months. I've acquired a client contract, so I will be dropping in and out, but working in the background. So see you next week for Derek's presentation, and in 2 weeks' time for Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing's Christmas party. Thank you.